And you guys were in the middle of your season, right? When everything kind of got kiboshed?
Yeah. We had about 13 games left.
Wow.
Yeah.
How tough was that or I guess, how did you wrestle with that of having your season just cut short so abruptly?
I mean, honestly, I never, like, at first I was like, okay, we're just going to miss like a week or two.
Right.
And then, we started hearing like, the higher leagues cancel, and it was like, okay, looks like we're not going to play. So, it was just kind of weird and just kind of so sudden. Like, so yeah, it kind of sucked, but kind of just starting to focus on next year now,
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, when everything kind of started rolling out, people weren't sure how long it would last for. It'd be like maybe a week or two, like were their first thoughts. And then it kind of hits you really hard at home when it's like the whole season is canceled. It's a totally different animal.
Yeah, exactly. So
listen, man, I know you're kind of known for your leadership on the team and on the ice and your mental approach to the game. How far back into your hockey career did you realize how important the mental aspect of hockey was?
I would say probably when I would say maybe around like, I don't know, 12 or 13, my dad would kind of tell me like, start, pounding it in my head at a young age that you kind of got to be able, like, be very kind of mentally tough for this sport. And, so just I guess he kind of just prepared me for it and just always, kind of like right way to handle things and wrong way to handle things within locker rooms and all that stuff. So, I would say probably about 12 or 13, I started realizing, that you got to have a pretty strong mind to get through the hockey lifestyle.
Yeah, and did that come about because you had aspirations of being a pro hockey player, or was it just playing hockey that kind of conversation came up?
I guess just kind of playing hockey, it came up. I never thought I would end up playing pro. I just always just loved hockey and kept playing and just found my way into playing pro. And so I think it was just him talking and shooting a breeze with me because he had been around it. So he kind of knew kind of saw guys. He was equipment manager up in the NHL for the Devils and the Sharks.
Okay.
So he kind of saw guys, in the locker room and good leaders and all that. And so he kind of just was like telling me what he learned there and letting me know, So
there's definitely a lot of behind the scene things that a equipment manager would see that that the regular person wouldn't see on TV, and
right.
It's got to be still valuable to kind of have that piece of advice, like you said, from your dad. Thinking about your own leadership style, how would you define it? I guess.
I guess the best way to describe it is kind of like I feel that I have like a way to get to guys. And mainly it would be like guys, maybe two guys that aren't getting along. I could kind of find a way to get them to end up getting along and hanging out. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing. I know in Carolina was kind of my role. They called me the glue guy. So, in Carolina, it was kind of getting everyone to buy in and be a family and do everything together. And that's what we did. And I feel like that's kind of, the ability I have to do that is kind of my strength, and making teams, all just on the same page of being a family and doing everything together.
Yeah. When you say doing things together, is it like off the ice activities, like parties, events, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. And I mean, not all the time, but it's just, I'm kind of once a week, like on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, let's go bowling. And then the next week we'll do a movie, paintball, kind of just whatever to get the guys to get, maybe one. I think last year in Columbus, we did a movie and then mini golf, and then we did like Wednesday night hockey on NBC. Everyone came over and we just make dinner and everyone would hang out. And so just kind of stuff like that to get everyone together and just kind of get away from the locker room and stuff,
Yeah, yeah, and you probably, easier, or I guess, you probably got probably good perspective on it of how important that is to your performance on the ice. Like, you've probably been around teams where if the chemistry isn't so much there off the ice, that it bleeds into your on ice performance. The team might not do as well, or you might not be having as much fun. Whereas on the opposite side, if you're having these dinners with your team and movie night, mini golf night, and you guys are more like family rather
Yeah.
than kind of guys just playing
Yeah.
hockey together, that really does help translate on the ice.
No, for sure. I'm a big believer in that. It does, for sure. And, it's just kind of, you got a better energy level, and kind of you guys end up pushing each other more in practice because you end up getting so close where you can push this guy without him getting mad or, getting upset. And it ultimately, it turns into a whole lead of events that I think, are good for having a good hockey team.
It's all about not taking things personally and just looking at it from an objective lens, right? Like, you're doing it to help the team in the grand scheme of things. You're not picking on one guy just to crap on him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So
when you were that 12, 13 years old and your dad, for introducing you to the mental side of hockey and kind of really giving you some lessons, this whole leadership thing about being the glue guy, was that something you did back then as well, or did it develop throughout your career?
I mean, I've always just been the person I am, and in the locker room. So I'm sure it was like that back then, but I didn't really know. I thought it was just being a goofball or, whatever, just making people laugh. And, now that I've gotten older and matured and kind of realized that, that just having guys like that in the locker room to bring everyone together it's an important thing for everybody, So it's kind of cool, but I never really practiced it or anything. I think it just came naturally, and it was pretty, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just who you are, right, as a person. Yeah. I think that's so important when you think about a chemistry, not only hockey, but could be any sports teams where each player has to kind of be who they are, true to themselves. If you have guys pretending to be someone they're not being, trying to put on a show, that's when you might get into a few problems. But if you can get everyone on board with just being who they are, and everyone on the team accepting each individual for who they are as a person, I think that's how you build a good hockey team.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Talk to me a bit about injuries. I know you haven't had the grace of luck with injuries throughout your career. Is there one injury that really sticks out to you that maybe shaped you through your mental strength or mental adversity to the person you are today?
Yeah, I would definitely say my when I blew my left knee out, it was my ACL, MCL, meniscus, patella. Blew all of them. The whole thing. And I kind of, it just, that kind of I was kind of in a bad, not the best place mentally, because I had to stay down there to see the doctors there down in Carolina, so I couldn't go home. And a lot more, everybody went home, for the summer to train. And so I was kind of just going to doctor appointments and just sitting at home and, in a lot of pain. And it was definitely tested my mental. I didn't really know if I was because, that was 2 years ago. So I was 25, and at the beginning of my career, I was just bouncing around team to team. Finally, I got to Carolina and was making a name, staying on a team, staying in the lineup, not moving. And then this happened. So I was I'm not gonna be able to get back to where I was. And so I kind of went through that stage, and then I was hey, let's get going here. Yeah. It's time to wake up, start training. So literally I just woke up one day and I was okay, I can, I was reading about certain athletes that came back from ACL and, had their best career, career the next year after coming back. And it's all right, I can do this. So then I just started focusing on just playing again. And I did for Carolina, and we won the cup. And then
the rest is history. Yeah.
Yeah. The rest is history. Then
how did you blow your knee? Was it an on ice thing? Was it a fluke thing?
Yeah, it was in a game. I really don't know what happened. The guy kind of just barely bumped me, and I had the puck in the slot. And and then I just remember I thought I shattered my kneecap is like what I thought, but I was wrong. But just don't even really know. Just caught an edge, or guy just bumped me weird. So
hockey's a weird sport like that. You see it all the time in all the leagues where it's such a fast-paced game that even the littlest of bumps, if it hits you just the wrong way, it can, like you said, blow out your knee or twist something that shouldn't be twisted. It's definitely one of the more crazier sports to play.
Yeah, no, for sure.
When I guess tell me a bit about how you picked up hockey. Was it something that you kind of just naturally were drawn towards, or does somebody put you into hockey?
Well, so my dad, obviously, he was equipment manager. And so as far as I can remember, I was always playing hockey and I loved it. So I couldn't even, I don't know if it was just being around it at such a young age, but I don't know how I fell in love with it. I just remember my whole life I was just playing and I loved it and I never wanted to stop playing. So I think, I'm pretty sure after games, my brother and I would go skate out after games. Like I was 3, my brother was 4, and then it's really, I just remember skating after games and loving hockey, and I just played.
Who were some of the guys that you grew up idolizing?
So my dad started GMing the United Hockey League teams. So I like, guys like Kevin St. Jacques, Trevor Sen, just kind of minor league guys. That's who I idolized because I was around them all. JF Pickard, Jason Bone, bunch of they're all minor league guys. But it was cool growing up around them, and also a guy John Level, and those are the guys that I was like I wanted to keep playing like these guys, and then I did. So.
And I think that the mentality of the minor league guys are a bit different than some guys in the NHL or the AHL, where they have maybe a bit more of that chip on their shoulder mentality, or an underdog mentality maybe. And I got to imagine that's played a role in your development as a hockey player, kind of being around and seeing how they handled themselves in their environment, and then you being able to replicate that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. 100%. I studied the way all those guys played and how they acted and all that. So.
Yeah. Going back a bit, 'cause you mentioned that beginning of your career, you're kind of bouncing around teams a bit. Tell me a bit about how much the worry, I guess. Because when I was speaking to Josh, he said that kind of in the minor league system, you never really know when your last day is with the team. You could be walking in one day and your bags are packed.
Yeah.
For you, how much did that kind of play a toll on you day to day?
I mean, honestly, I kept saying, there's a reason why this is happening. And I was just happy to get the opportunities I had at that level. So I kind of was just saying positive about it, and just kind of every day. I mean, was it in the back of my head? Yeah. Like you never know when they're going to let you go. But I just kind of just tried to say positive because that's what I was there for. Kind of a 10th forward, and, kind of glue guy. So I just would just go stay positive and, hopefully I didn't get caught.
Yeah. And again, is that
the time with the guys that I was with,
Yeah. Yeah. Again, is that something that you've always kind of held close to you, that positive mentality, or was there a time where maybe you're a bit more negative?
I was probably a little more negative when I was a kid in youth hockey because I was like a top player in youth hockey. So, now I look at it differently because, I was a 10th forward until this past season. So, I'm sure I was a little more negative when I was a kid, but not too bad. I think, maybe I was just, young and just not, still learning, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Walk me through a bit of your mindset like in the middle of a game, if a play doesn't go your way or you feel like you're at fault for a goal, and in hockey, there's not a lot of time in between plays, right? Like as soon as that goal is scored, the next minute the puck's dropped again.
Yeah.
How do you reset your mind so that you're not dragging along what just happened and letting it affect the rest of your game?
I mean, if I'm out there and get scored on, I'm just get back and, we'll get it back. We'll get it back. We're going to get a lot of chances. Like you at least get a couple chances a game. So if you can capitalize on one of them, you'll be all right.
Yeah. Is there one game or one moment that really sticks out to you where something like that helped your team or helped you really kind of get over maybe a negative situation?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I kind of, every now and then I'll kind of lose it too. And I got scored on, and pretty sure it was my guy. So I was I was pretty pissed about I let the team down in a tight game. And so I went back to I went in the locker room and broke my stick in the hallway, and my coach called me out, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, I can't stand getting scored on and letting the team down." And we just came back. We were down 2-0. It was 2-2, and then we let them score 3-2 at the end of the period. And he said, "Hey, just let it go and go out and do something." And then our first shift of the third, I went out and scored and tied the game. So. I think him kind of settling me down and was like, "Hey, just go on, get the next one." That was all right.
That's another kind of aspect of being a good leader, is knowing when something's your fault and being able to be led by other people. Because sometimes you'll see leaders where they want to be like the alpha guy in the locker room. Yeah. They don't want to take it from anybody else. But I think a good leader, you can probably speak to this a bit more than me. A good leader not only kind of keeps the team together, but recognizes when somebody else can kind of help themselves as well.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah. I know when I mess up and I own it, but because you can't be perfect. I mean, it's a tough game.
It is.
So, but yeah.
I was going to say it's perfection is such an interesting topic, because kids, when they're kind of growing up, and probably even some pro athletes now, they want to be perfect at everything they do, but it's not realistic, right? Because you look at, I always, with a lot of the younger kids, I guess, that I coach or consult with, I'll ask them, like, who's your favorite player in the NHL? And they'll say like Crosby or Carey Price or, PK Subban or something. And they always try and think that those guys get every shot on goal, like in the net, or they think they see puck. And I always tell them, go look at their stats. Like, you'll see Carey Price, he has what, 920 or 910 save percentage. I mean, PK Subban, Shea Weber, all these guys, they have turnovers. Nobody's perfect. And I think it's a turning point in an athlete's career when they realize that you don't need to be perfect to be good at your sport. You just need to be the best player you can be.
Exactly. So
yeah, it's tell me, I guess another thing that I see so much in hockey players is they kind of get judgmental of themselves. So if they have, one or two good games in a row, they'll think they're on top of the world. But then if they have a bad game, they think that, they lost all their talent, or they should retire or quit or something. Walk me through if you've had any experience with that kind of up and down emotional roller coaster as a hockey player, and how you keep yourself grounded so that you don't get so yo-yo with your emotions.
I think, obviously when you're, riding the high, you're riding the high and you kind of roll with it. But when you're not scoring, or not helping the team out, it's kind of in the back of your head and you're kind of fighting it a bit. So for me, the best way I could just get out of it was just, it's a new day. You got to hit the reset button. I mean,
that reset button is huge.
Yeah, it's just literally, you have to do it. Otherwise, you're gonna just run your mind ragged, and so that's for me. I guess I'm usually pretty good at just hitting that reset button. It's like, all right, new game. We gotta have a better night. If I had a not so well night the night before, so yeah.
You say, like, if you had a bad night or you had a good night, how do you judge your performance if it was good or bad?
I mean, for me, it's ultimately first off did we win the game would be all number one, and then if we won the game, I would go down to if I thought that I did my job, which is don't get scored on and score a big goal here or there, or make a good play here or there when it's needed, and so I kind of go off of those two things there and kind of break it down from there.
And obviously, it seems like stats is at the bottom of that list.
Yeah, I don't care. All I care about going in games is just don't get scored on.
Yeah.
Then if you do your job with that, scoring will come. If if it doesn't, at least you didn't get scored on. So
right.
But yeah, I don't. Yeah, stats are not my thing. I don't care.
That's
really.
the other thing I see with so much with younger kids is they care all about the stats, right? If they want the 5 or 4 point games, and they could feel that if their team won but they didn't get 3 goals, they had a bad game, for example. Where I really try to work with the athletes and say, it's not just about the stats that judge if you had a good game or not. There's other ways to contribute in hockey. Like you said, there's no stats to say like, goals stopped as a defenseman or as a back or playing forward. Right. And even really, if you're not having the greatest game on the ice, but if you're able to be the glue guy, that's also contributing to the team as well. There's so much behind the stats. And I really just try to hammer that down with a lot of younger athletes because that's what gets all the media attention, right? Is the stats.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, that's just the way some people are, which is all right, But some people, for me, I don't stats. If we're winning, I'd rather win.
Yeah.
Let's keep winning.
Yeah. Was there a time where you cared more about the stats? Maybe like when you're
Never. I always wanted to win. Never, I didn't stats it was cool. Like if I was having a good year, it'd be cool. Like I'm having but if we were losing it, this sucks. I don't want 50 goals and 2 wins. I want 25 goals and 50 wins. But I don't know. For me, I feel like that's just what you're playing the game to win. So ultimately, for me, I want to win always.
In the minor league system, bus rides are pretty common, and long bus rides at that as well. Being, the leader that you are in the team and the role you have on those long bus rides, are you like hyping the team up for the game coming ahead, or are you trying to maybe take their mind off of hockey?
Yeah. I'm for me on the bus and outside of hockey, it's no hockey. It's let's talk about who's talking to who and. Talk about just all the fun stuff, and all the jokes and no hockey for me on the bus and stuff. Just trying to get everyone laughing. Yeah. So,
how long can those bus rides get? You guys have like 12 or 14-hour bus rides?
Yeah. I think our longest one was 18 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Columbus to Watertown. Yeah, Watertown, New York. So
okay.
But we got a real nice sleeper bus, so it's not bad, and 2 big TVs, and so card tables, so we have fun with it.
Yeah, that's I've never been a bus ride guy. I would really need probably five of you on my bus to get through that.
Yeah, no, it's an adjustment at first, but now anything under 10 hours to me is a little skip away. So. Yeah,
I wish I could get to that point. For me, 5 or 6 hours, I'm like, I think I'll fly this one.
Yeah, I wish, but no, we're bus the bus marathons,
and that just having an 18-hour bus ride, for example, just goes to show how important that off-ice chemistry is. Because if there's a bit of tension amongst the team, the tension gets real thick over 18 hours of.
For sure. Yeah, you got everyone's. Yeah, it's important to have a tight knit team. Very, So. Yeah,
listen, man. Before we wrap up here, I wanted to get your sense of through your experience as a hockey player, maybe just as a person in general over the past 15 years playing hockey. What's kind of one piece of advice you would give to the younger kids that are 12, 13, 14 years old, looking to make that next step or improve their game from the mental side of things?
My biggest thing is that I, want to let kids know is it goes by so fast. So just enjoy it, and kind of, I know it's hard when you get to a certain age, other, like, maybe friends are getting recruited and you're not, and this and that, but just kind of zone everything out and just enjoy your time with your friends and your teammates, because it goes by super fast, and you really don't know when you're, last time you're going to play hockey is going to be. So that's what I tell everyone.
Is that something you had to go through with having friends and buddies recruited to maybe higher up teams and you having to block that out?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's, I mean, I'm happy for my friends growing up and everything, but it was like, well, what did I do wrong, or am I not doing this right, or whatever? But, I try, like I said, I try to stay positive most of the time. So usually I'm all right.
Hey, I like how you mentioned it with blocking things out. It's kind of almost, you need to find things that distract you from hockey, right? Like, hockey shouldn't be a 24/7 thing. It's a lot of, a lot of athletes, they love the sport they play, and, they're in a blessed situation to play it. But at the end of the day, it's almost like a job. And as much as you need physical rest from playing hockey, you probably to a certain extent need mental rest as well. And you can't have your brain being go 24/7 or it's gonna burn out.
Right. No, for sure. Rest is a big thing. Yep. So, I always take 2 weeks after the season and just turn everything off and go to Florida and turn everything off. So, so that's it.
Listen, man, I appreciate you taking some time today. Again, hope that you, your friends, and your family all stay safe. And again, hopefully this thing passes sooner rather than later and we can get back to watch some hockey.
For sure. Thank you for having me on, and it was great meeting you, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome, man.